Welcome to Evansville Podcast. My name is Jason. Hey, it's just me today. Day 29 of the NaPodPoMo. We're almost done. One more tomorrow, and we'll be done with the challenge and never do again of a podcast every day because that's dumb. So, thought today I'd give you a little peek behind the curtain and tell you how an episode gets made generally. Everyone seems to be a little different, but this is the general process. Thought you might be interested to see what goes on in making one of these wonderful, super interesting podcasts. So, what happens? How does this even get started? I have to set up an interview or a conversation or whatever you want to call it. And that usually happens that I am contacted by someone, usually via, I would guess Facebook is probably the most common way. Sometimes contact through the website, rarely on Twitter or anything like that, but mostly Facebook and the website, I guess. Or I'll reach out to someone if I have an idea of somebody I want to talk to. I'll get a hold of them however I do that. And that's usually by Twitter, Facebook, or if I know them, maybe even text. But yeah, that's usually how it goes. Or if I try to, hopefully, if there's people that I don't know, that I reach out to common friends or enemies. And we, somehow we figure out when we're going to meet and where we're going to meet. Try to have them at the world headquarters here in beautiful downtown Evansville, if I can, because I can control the sound better, have good mics, all that stuff. Sometimes I do it on location if I have to, where I'll take a mic, old USB mic I have, or possibly I have a portable device called a Zoom H4n. Sometimes I use it. But it's best to use it to be home court advantage for me at the studio, like I said. So if I can get people to come downtown, which usually it's not a problem, they'll come down. They'll talk to me for a little bit. Before that even happens, though, we'll agree on a time. We'll agree on the place. And then if I have to, I'll do some research. If I don't know them very well or don't know the subject we'll be talking about, I'll do a little bit of research. That's one thing that I need to get better at is researching. I've started out doing the podcast thinking, I'll just go in blind like everyone else and, try to get my curiosity. But I found that is not how I should do it. I'm better if I know something, then I can seem to ask better questions, more leading questions, I guess. But also like to bring up certain things that maybe people don't know about that you can find. It's amazing what you can find on people, even quote unquote normal people that aren't like public figures. There's still a lot of stuff out there. So that could be scary. I don't know. Let's not go to a dark place there. But yeah, research if I need to, and then we'll get them over to the studio, let's say. And we'll shoot for a 20 or 30 minute conversation is what I try for. And, if you've listened before, they're all over the place. It can be 5 minutes. It can be an hour and a half, depending on how interested I am, how interesting they are, how much bourbon we've had. There's a lot of factors that go into that. I'll have to get the mics set up properly. So it depends on how many people we're talking with. If it's just another person or maybe two people that I'm talking with, that's an easy setup. I have a couple of high LPR 40s and a Shure something that I'm blanking on the number, but it's like kind of like what the radio people use, I guess. So if you've ever seen pictures of radio people, it's kind of like that. And yeah, so we'll get those set up. I have extra mics if needed. I don't like to talk to a lot of people at once because somebody's going to get lost in the shuffle or it's just going to be chaos. And if you heard any of the First Friday Lives, you'll know that's chaos. And chaos is not necessarily awesome when you're trying to listen. But most likely, it's the 3 mic setup, 2 to 3 mics. That's usually the way we roll. Now I run that through an interface that connects to my laptop. And I record via GarageBand. Now, GarageBand was free on my Mac. If I were using a PC, I'd probably use something called Audacity, but I don't. I use GarageBand. So, anyways, guest and I talk. It's amazing. They say amazing things. I ask wonderful questions. We make great points. And then we're done. I finish the recording, send them on the way. And then later on, sometimes much later on, I will have to edit the episode. So what I'll do is I'll re-listen to the entire thing, and I will cut out any unnecessary ums. I'll leave some in, let's be honest. But I will cut out some if they're annoying me when I re-listen to it, and I'll cut out some, extra long pauses, or maybe if a question doesn't get answered right, or, we want to rephrase it, we'll just do it again. That's the beauty about not being live, is we can realize we have a better way of saying something and just say it that way, and then cut out the crappy version. And, I can bleep out swear words if I need to, if I feel like that's necessary at sometimes, or take them out completely. Or if I say a dumb joke that isn't funny at all, take it out. And also, sometimes there's weird noises that just happen. Like there's a recent one, I think it was I don't remember which one it was. Oh, the Carson's Brewery one. Carson's Brewery and ITV episode, that there was a weird, just digital noise, and I have no idea why it was there. I tried to take it out as much as I could, but I know some of it kind of bled into it. But for the most part, I try to keep it as close to real as possible for how the conversation went, because I think that's kind of the appeal, at least for me, when I listen to a podcast, is I want it to be like we're just hanging out and not trying to be perfect. That's for other mediums. They can deal with all that garbage. So I'll finish editing the episode, and then I'll run it through on Adobe Audition. I have some special effects, a secret sauce kind of thing that makes it sound way better, the more radio quality, or broadcast quality, whatever you want to call it. So I run that through, and once that's done, I export that out to an MP3, shoot it back over to GarageBand, and I'll add my intro and outro music, the lovely hardcore violins that you hear. And then I'll put over any words if I need to. I've kind of gotten away from doing the intros again. I did intros for a while. I'm not sure how effective it was either way. If you have a preference, let me know. But, and then I have a clip of me saying, "Good job, everybody," at the end. So I tack that on, shoot that out to an MP3, fully formed version, upload that to my podcast host, which is Libsyn. And I'll put a title and a brief description, trying to cover what we talk about so that you'll know whether or not you want to dive in, hopefully entice you with my witty remarks and comments there. And then I'll tag people on, there's a spot on there where it goes out to Twitter automatically, so I'll make sure to tag the guest if they're on there. Push publish, and it shoots it out to the world. It goes to an RSS feed, which is what all the podcast players grab from. And also it shoots it out to a YouTube version, which just has the logo and then plays the episode in the background, which I'm not sure how effective that is. It's kind of nice because, you get that YouTube, Google traffic thing allegedly, but I'm not sure if I've seen the numbers bear out on that one. So that might be going away. But anyways, it shoots it out to Tumblr as well, which I guess is a hot mess lately too. So maybe that needs to go away. And like I said, Twitter, it goes out to there. A couple other places, I think. I've got a embedded podcast player that gets updated on various places. So yeah, it shoots it out to everyone, and you should get it once it's published. You should get it within a few minutes, I believe, depending on what player you use. I know some players like Stitcher, they redo the format, or somehow they change the bitrate, some kind of technical mumbo jumbo. So they usually take a little longer for places like Stitcher, because they want to be in control of the feed somehow for whatever reason. I don't know why. But yeah, so that's how it gets out to you. And then once that's out, I'll grab the links, create a page on the evansvillepodcast.com with the description and a link to the MP3, a place where you can play it there. It shoots it on the front page. You got a big play button there you can use. And also, I'll throw it out on the social media. Go to Facebook always, of course, Twitter always. Sometimes I go to Google Plus because I'm not sure if that's still relevant or not. And, you don't want to offend Google because they're kind of important for searching and stuff. So I like, every once in a while when I remember, I guess, I'll throw it out on Google. I go to LinkedIn if I think it's more businessy related. If it's just something silly, I probably won't put it on LinkedIn So I want to keep that kind of separated. And then I used to do Snapchat every once in a while where I would just talk about the episodes, but I really don't like Snapchat, so I kind of stopped doing that. Instagram, definitely Instagram's important, I believe. And sometimes I'll create it. And I'll do it kind of a couple different ways. One way is I'll just take a screenshot of the podcast player on my phone showing the title of the new episode and the description. And I'll shoot that out to Instagram. That way, make all the appropriate hashtags and stuff. Or I'll make an image on Canva, canva.com. It's like a Photoshop for Dummies, really simplified version. And a lot of stuff's free on there that you can use. And I will create a better image than I could by myself, for sure, because I'm graphically challenged at times. So I'll do that, and then I can share that on Instagram. And Instagram, when it gets published, it posts it to Instagram, and then it also shoots it over to Facebook. And I also have a if then I don't know, if then do this, whatever it's called, IFTTT, that sees anytime I publish an Instagram picture, it shoots out to Twitter and makes it a Twitter formatted properly. Because if you just go from Instagram to Twitter, it has a link to the picture back to Instagram instead of just having the picture. So I use the if then do this, whatever it's called. Yeah, I got lost there too, but it makes it all fancy looking in Twitter. That's the point. Got to make sure you get your hashtags right, of course. Hashtagging is very important. And because there's a couple hashtags I use. Definitely hashtag Evansville, hashtag E is for everyone, hashtag podcast, hashtag podcasting, hashtag tripod, TRYPOD. That's one that we're supposed to use if you want to get other people to try your podcast. That's where that comes from. And also hashtag Podern Family. I'm not sure where that came from, but that seems to work sometimes. So I use it on occasion. I don't use them all. Probably Evansville one I use all the time, but I just kind of use the hashtag that it fits the episode, like the recent movie ranking one. I'll use a hashtag movie, hashtag flick chart, stuff like that. And yeah, all that's left after that's all done is obsessively refreshing the stat page to see how many downloads I'm not getting. And yeah, that's it. That what goes into an episode on the average for Evansville podcast. Things I'd like to work on, maybe getting more consistent, like a consistent day of the week that they go out. Definitely talk about what I've kind of figured out over this last 30 days of podcasting for tomorrow's episode. So I'll kind of wait on that, I guess, to go over then. But yeah, thanks for listening. Hopefully this was interesting to you. And if you have a better way of doing something, I'm always on board for that. I like learning about more efficient ways to do things. And especially show notes, they're the worst. Thanks. Good job, everybody.